powered by Riverside.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Live from the Bench. We already put up our predictions for the week. It's week 4, I believe. We put our week 4 predictions up. Now we got to get ready for tomorrow. We have to give you our Eagles versus Buccaneers predictions. I don't call it a prediction. I call it a spoiler. But before we get into and give you guys our prediction, we want to get about and talk about the stories around the league. Regarding this game. So, Boulevard, you have the injury reports and any other information out there. Could you give it to the fans and let them know exactly what they missing out on?
Okay, well, as far as the injuries are concerned, on Saturday, today, A.J. Brown was downgraded from questionable to out. Smith was ruled out with a concussion. Lane Johnson is still listed as questionable as he was a limited participant in practice on Friday. So, considering we're down 2 receivers at the moment, our top 2 receivers no less, Paris Campbell and John Ross have been elevated from the practice squad. I can hear how excited everyone is. I can hear the cheers and joyous celebration. All right. Yeah, that's the big deal there. Also, Britton Covey's out, as we know. So expect to see a lot more Jahan Dotson and Paris Campbell and maybe some John Ross. I don't know what their depth chart looks like now, but a lot more Dallas Goedert.
I've been hearing that Johnny Wilson might be a guy to watch out for this week.
Can hear anything. We'll see. I mean, I don't know that he's shown it yet, but, next man up means next man up. Eventually, it's his turn.
Listen,
I mean, looking at bringing all these people up, that they had to bring 2 more up means they don't really trust them. That's my assumption.
I agree.
So there's that.
I feel like
the injuries.
Yeah, I feel like Lane Johnson's not going to play. We'll probably see more Fred Johnson. We'll probably see because I don't know. Mekhi Becton probably won't play either. I don't know how his hand's looking.
Yeah, I believe he's limited participant also as well too.
Yeah.
Yep. Finger injury.
So you'll probably see
limited practice with a wrist injury. Darius Slay was a full participant, but Milton Williams was also limited. Right. There's that. I mean, there's that whole thing with Devontae Smith. The reason he's injured, to me, that's the headline of this game because, it was kind of unfair.
Yeah.
What is it? Who was it? Somebody on the Eagles was fined 3 different times. Twice for taunting.
Yep.
$16,000 for taunting twice.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Then he got another 15 for a late hit in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's the issue that I'm having with it. Also, the amount that he got charged for it, considering the man that laid out Devontae Smith won checks notes.
$4,000.
Christian Boyd, defensive tackle, $4,600 for the hit. Anybody want to see the hit? Because I'm posting the hit. Here it goes. Children, hide your eyes, as Facebook may say that this is bad. All right. Here we go.
320-pound guy drew full speed here.
So you heard the man? Yeah, see, what is that?
Comes in from behind.
You ain't have to do none of that.
It looks horrible. It was a terrible hit. Just want to be clear, though, he did hit him in the back. He did not hit him in the head. And
look, it was malicious as a motherfucker.
Just a great sign to see.
The fact is, the man got fined almost a third of what CJ got for tauntings. Separately, that's separate taunting, 16 grand, 4,600, almost thirds, whatever, math, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what is that? Like, I'm gonna need you to explain this shit in a way that it doesn't piss me off, because I'm kind of mad at the way they leveled these fines.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is, to me, is that it's a former Eagle who's sending out these fines to John Runyon.
Yeah.
And
you were one of us.
Like, you're not protecting the players. Like, you guys are not protecting the players.
They don't care about the players.
They don't. They just care about the quarterbacks.
Yeah. They just care about the TV dollars. They don't care. They're going to other countries. They're trying to add another game to the schedule. They don't care. I mean, as simple as this. If they cared, Guardian caps would be mandatory for one thing.
Yeah.
Like, straight out the gate, if they cared. They cared, they'd fix some of these damn fields in a way they don't destroy players' ACLs and whatever have yous in the knees.
Yeah.
They would fix that if they actually cared. But they don't do that. Instead, they're trying to get players to be more exhausted, going to multiple fucking continents to go play for other teams, other fans of a sport that they've never even seen. They don't know what the hell they're watching. They'd rather do that for the dollars and risk the players' health. They don't care about the players. I don't even know why they want to pretend for the cameras like they want to care about the players. Then when they do shit like this and make it very obvious to anyone who's watching that they don't give a shit about the players. So I don't even know why we've got to pretend like that.
Absolutely.
I mean that's ridiculous. 4,600 to 1,600 for taunting? Come on. In what world is that even?
It don't make no sense.
That is some disloyal bullshit on your part, John Runyon.
And then I didn't hear anything about the guy, Trevor Penning, I believe his name is, the O-lineman that out of bounds, past the coach and put him on the ground. I didn't hear anything him being fined.
No, let me look into that. Go on, talk, spit your shit.
It's just so crazy that there is like a certain level of malice, because you know this team has a history of putting bounties on players. Not saying that the Saints are doing that now, but you got to understand that some players actually still go out and they aim to hurt other players. And my thing with the whole Devontae Smith play, he was pushed back a full maybe 6-7 yards before they blew the whistle. It's like, I thought the point where his forward progress is stopped, you blow the whistle, but he was pushed back a solid 7 yards maybe. And they still didn't blow the whistle and he still got hit. There's got to be a point where the league is like, do better, refs. But it's not going to happen. And I think it's going to come to a point where we're looking at a type of football that we're not interested in. Because what I recently saw a video where some kids are the level of football that some players are, young youth players are playing, full pads, helmet, pads, pants, all of it, but they're wearing flags. And seeing that was just like, I don't know if that's the kind of football I want my kid growing up doing, because it's either the sport is changing, or we're going to be leaning more on flag football to replace what we watch every day. And I promise you, that's not nearly going to be as money grabbing as you want it to be. You're not going to get the big plays. You're not going to get the exciting plays in flag football that you get with pro football. You're not going to get any of that. And I feel as though when you do this, where you change the game, you make the game, it's one thing to try to make the game safe. there's one thing to also make it to where that contact is just completely overruled. However, you gotta find a good balance of what contact is necessary and when contact isn't. Like what the refs did, they failed to do it. Like if that was a quarterback being pushed back, or a quarterback who was still trying
Oh, the
to,
quarterback got pushed back the moment they all had him, and they would have blew the whistle.
yeah. And if
Like
the
there wouldn't
quarterback,
have been any chance of that happening. Immediately
right,
they would have blown the whistle.
right, and if there was a quarterback, if the quarterback was like being pulled down, they'll blow the whistle. Even if the quarterback was still trying to move forward, they're pulling the whistle. They're blowing it.
Maybe the quarterbacks.
But if it was a receiver, we're not doing that. If it's a running back, we're not doing that.
No.
I don't understand it. There's like you can't do that. You got to protect everybody on the field. I feel like that was just a big mistake by the refs, big mistake by the league, and it's got to change. We got to see changes all over the
Until the
field.
reps get consistent across the board, it's going to keep being shit like this.
Yeah,
When you
it's
see-
never going to be consistent.
See, I mean, they don't like if players don't have a consistent knowledge of what's going to happen, and shit like this is going to keep fucking happening because nobody knows where the limits are.
Mm-hmm.
So you get shit like that where it's clearly a dirty play, but it's not really it's not a flag play.
Right.
But not the penning play. The other one, the Devontae hit.
Devontae Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just got to get more. It's got to be clearer to the players.
And
Like
I
the
think
reps have to get a better to explain this shit better because we just had issues with reps and play and blowing whistles and shit. Because from what I understand, they were teaching it one way, coach, that this is the way they want it, and then when the season started, they started doing it a different way.
yeah.
That when they kept hitting the tackles with. Like so, the reps need to get consistent.
Yeah.
Because that's always the damn issue. They can change their fucking shit from in-game play to play. Like, just stay consistent for 4 quarters.
Yes.
The players will figure it out. You can't be dominating the game with your bullshit if you're wearing the stripes. You have to let the players play. But at the same time, you can't let shit like what happened, what Penning did, or what's the big dude, the tackle, what he did. You cannot let that happen to any players because you're promoting this whole agenda of safety, but when they're out there on the field, it's clear that they don't care about safety. So, what do you really do? I mean, I got a quote from Slay here, and that quote, he was tripping. It could have been a clean play. He just made it a bad play. I do understand he has a job to do, and he was blocking for his teammates. But out of bounds like that, all the way back there, that ain't called for. That ain't called for. I'm like, I'm out of bounds. Chill out.
And he ain't
That's
stopped.
even worse because if he's still doing it, obviously he ain't trying to correct nothing. So
he wanted to hurt Slay.
mm-hmm.
He wanted to hurt somebody. That's where it was. That's where these guys are. Some of these guys, their whole intent is to hurt somebody. And that's it. And that's just seems like that just sounds and it looks like that's the agenda of the black and gold. They just want to hurt somebody.
Well,
I
there you
don't
go.
know. Maybe it's the
It's right there on
organization.
camera for everybody to see.
Yeah. Maybe it's the organization. It probably didn't end with what was his name? Greg Williams or Mike Williams? I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I don't feel like it ended with him. There's no way it ended with him because that was probably the coach of the team before he got there. He probably adopted it, or not necessarily adopted it. He just went with the flow. It probably didn't change. That came from that probably came from higher up. But be that as it may, we got to move on to the next topic.
Geez.
Yeah, I can't remember. But we do got to get into. Let's talk about what's to come. This next game, the Buccaneers versus the Eagles. Let's go ahead and give them my prediction. Well, in my sense, the spoiler. Boulevard. All right. I think the Eagles are going to lean on their run game. At least they should. If they lean on their run game and don't turn the ball over, I think the Eagles can win this game. Not saying they run the ball all the time, but I feel as though if you're running 70 plays, 45 should be runs. That's my personal opinion. I feel like with Saquon Barkley, his ability, you can definitely, if you lean on Jalen Hurts' ability to run, you lean on Kenny Gainwell. This is where you see you got a lot of injuries. I think this is where you bring out those special running backs. That's what I like to call them. They're all special. Shipley, he's a lot bigger than everybody thinks he is. He's about 210, 215 in that area. He can roll, he can tote the rock, and he can catch the ball. Gainwell, he's probably bigger than we all believe he is. I believe Gainwell's a little over 200. He can carry the ball and he can catch the ball. Saquon's pushing 230 if he's not already there. He can run the ball and he can throw the ball. Jalen Hurts pushing 230. He can throw the ball and he can run the ball. Use the skills that you have, especially when you don't have the great level of talent on the outside. Utilize your tight ends. Grant Calcaterra, we know he can do something unless he's injured. I know he did leave the game, but I haven't heard anything about him not coming back in. Utilize Calcaterra, utilize Goddard just like you did this past week. When you utilize Goddard, because the man, you saw what he can do when he gets his touches, when he gets his targets. He does good. He makes good plays, and he put it right there. He showed it to everybody. Use it. Don't change. Don't change what you're doing just because you're playing a different team. Do it. What works? Because if it works, it works. Yeah, they're going to game plan for the more targets to Goddard. But if you continue to do that, force them into that game plan. Force them into that game plan to stop Goddard, and you'll see those other guys start coming open. And I think if the Eagles run that type of game, they win. Because I feel like the defense has performed well enough, because them shutting out Shaheed shows that they can defend the deep ball for a change. Because in the past, they haven't been able to defend that very well. I mean, yeah, they got beat the hell by Reed from the Packers in week 1, but they figured it out, and we don't see that problem. Let's hope it continues to do that. So I feel as though, looking at the Buccaneers, yes, they have a talented team. I feel like Rashad White will run the ball all over them. Now, if the Eagles can stop Rashad White and force Baker Mayfield to actually have to throw the ball, there's a good chance the Eagles win this. So I'm picking the Eagles to win this game against the Buccaneers. I wonder what Boulevard has to say. I have no reason to pick the Buccaneers.
I was just going to point out for one, to get that Vita Vea might play. He's been out for the last 2 games with a knee MCL issue.
Ooh.
That's a factor. And Winfield didn't play last week, and Cansey didn't play last week, but they may be available this week to play. So, yeah, that like Via's a difference maker if he can actually go out. That's the one thing that can truly counter that power run that you're speaking of, which, you know me, I'm a big ass fan of it. I love the smash mouth, running down their throats and up their chest.
And especially if the Eagles get into short yardage, Vita Vea, is that guy that'll stuff that tush push. Him not being there changes the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a much easier thing to try to do. Run it up the middle, run it down there. Yeah. Just load it up with blockers and just go to town. It's easy, much easier with Bo out of there. But I mean, if Cansey plays, I don't think the Kancey's as big as Villa, but he's still an effective player. So
Yeah, he's a 3-4 edge rusher, 3-4 defensive.
yeah, I gotta be honest. For the past week or so, since Wednesday or Thursday, I've had Buccaneers highlighted as my prediction, but yeah, I'm going to stick with the Buccaneers and the Buccaneers to win.
Okay, that sounds like good to me.
You want some stats?
I would love some stats. So we need some stats.
Everybody loves stats.
Give
All
us
right.
the stats.
Through 3 weeks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a minus 11 sack differential. They've given up 11 more sacks than they've sacked. That's the worst through 3 weeks of football. They're averaging 3.5 yards per drive without a sack compared to 0.5 per drive when sacked. I don't know what that means. 53% of Philadelphia's drives have reached the red zone or scored a touchdown, the highest rate in the league. That's pretty great. 46.7% of the drives against Tampa Bay have reached the red zone or scored prior, 30th in the league. Ooh.
So, basically, with the information that you've just given us, Eagles, Nick Sirianni, let Elliott kick it.
Yeah. Also, Sirianni, you just stop trying to call plays. Just stop. I'll get back to the stats in a second, but I'm begging you, dude. Stop. Please. You're not good at it. You might be good at other things. You should focus on the things you're good at here. You brought people in that can accentuate your skill set. Like they can do what you're bad at. Let them do that. Because you just do not have that in you. Okay? Please. Go Birds. But stop trying to call plays. Let Kellen Moore do his thing. He's been doing it longer than you have, and he's had, well, I don't know if I'd say he had more success, but he's been doing it longer than you have. Just let him do his thing. Get the fuck out of the way. That's just, yeah. Just had to say that. That's it. You go on.
Oh, you was giving us the stats. Give us the stats.
Oh, okay. Well, the last one I said was 46.7 against Tampa Bay. Reached the red zone or scored prior. Now, 43.3 of the drives against Philadelphia have reached the red zone or scored prior. 29th in the league. The Eagles have forced a 3-and-out with a punt on 6.7 of opponents' drives. By far the lowest in the league.
Wow.
The Bucs are the only team that has not given up a passing touchdown. Forgot to mention Britton Covey also broke a bone in his shoulder, and he's on IR. So he's out too. Another stat. Todd Bowles has blitzed Hurts on 43.7% of his dropbacks, the highest rate for a passer that a Bowles-led defense has faced more than once. So he knows Hurts' weakness.
Yeah.
Hurts is 1-3 against Bowles, throwing 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in those games. When blitzed in those games, you remember the highest that he has blitzed anyone. Hurts has completed 38 of 67, means like 56.7% of his passes for 6.3 yards with 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions when blitzed. Okay, more stats about Hurts. When he's under pressure, he's completed 52.8% of his passes for a whole 3.5 yards per attempt. When a line does its job, that number goes up to 80.3% for 9.8. The Bucs are 20th in pressure rate defensively, and they only have a 1.7 sack rate, the lowest in the league. So this actually plays to the Eagles' favor.
Interesting.
Also, Hurts has not rushed more than 44 yards in a game.
This year?
That's for you fantasy players.
I didn't draft him.
I did multiple times.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're my matchup for the week, so I'm gonna lose this one.
I don't know. I'll look at it later, but I don't know. I haven't seen your team. I barely looked.
Yeah, I am looking.
That I should. There's like 10 of them. So, what else we got?
What else we got?
It's a girl.
Yeah, whatever.
No, it's really not. Calm yourselves down. Calm yourselves down. There's no girl. What we got is some former Carolina quarterback. Cameron Jarrell Newton talking about Eli Manning's nomination for the Hall of Fame. Excuse me, Elisha's Manning nomination for the Hall of Fame. That's a weird word to say. Elisha, whatever. It's a girl name either way. They're both girl names either way, actually. But the quote is, if he gets a gold jacket before me, I deserve 2 of them. That's what Cam said about Eli's nomination. Does that mean that if Cam gets 1 Super Bowl appearance, Eli gets 2 Super Bowl wins? Is that what I mean? Okay. Then I just made it make sense, I guess, but that's a stupid ass thing to say. Come on, Cam, you got to be realistic.
Yeah, be realistic. And then you brought out the numbers earlier. Eli was ranked what in touchdown passes for his career?
All time 10th.
10th all time in touchdown passes.
And Cam Newton is 58th.
58th. All time.
When you add in the rushing touchdowns, 9, 260 to Eli's 366 plus his 7 rushing. So 373, 266 or whatever I just said. Something, whatever. It's a big difference. So
there's a big difference.
Big difference in the numbers. Then you add in the Super Bowl rings. No.
Hey, Cam. My message to Cam is you got to understand something, bro. Eli getting his before you. Honestly, I didn't think that Cam Newton was ever going to actually be in the conversation for a Hall of Fame. So,
I mean, he has the rushing touchdown for quarterbacks, but in that one MVP season where I believe that's the 15-1 year, yeah. So that's really it. I mean, he had a few good years. We all appreciated his ability, but
he's not
never the dude except that 1 year. So
I have to like, yes, there's no denying his impact on the game, his athleticism. There's still no denying that. But you look at his body of work, I'm like, you're a great runner, but as a quarterback, where did you lead your team? Because you look at guys like Donovan McNabb. When you compare Donovan McNabb to Cam Newton, I would say Donovan should get a ring before you.
Yeah. You know what's sad? Because their completion percentages are way closer than it should be.
Mr. Donovan Dirt McNabb.
Yeah. To 60.3. They're 0.4 apart in completion percentage.
What's the rank?
Completion percentage?
No, touchdowns. Where's McNabb all-time list?
All right, give me a second.
He's probably farther down the list.
He wouldn't be too far down. Yeah, 35. 234 in the air.
So he's 35th at all time?
Mm-hmm. He didn't have a bad career.
Yeah,
He just went to the Redskins.
So this is what I say. If Eli gets his gold jacket before Cam and Cam gets 2, then McNabb gets 5. And that means Pat Mahomes get like 11 because Pat Mahomes is still in the league and he's like
Pat Mahomes is 38th, 3 behind McNabb. He'll catch McNabb before the season's over.
Yeah.
Mahomes and George Blanda.
Mahomes is gonna. I think Mahomes will retire number 1 all time. I think he'll. I don't know who's number 1. I'm pretty sure it's Brady.
All time, yeah, it's Brady. He's got 650, damn near 649. Breeze is 571.
Yeah,
Mahomes is 400 touchdowns behind him. He's not catching him.
He might.
He'd have to play for a long time, and Reed would have to stay in the league. So Reed ain't gonna be in the league that much longer. That man already old.
I give Reed about 5 more years.
Yeah. Shit, I give him 3.
Well, I was just.
He may have to leave for health reasons.
Yeah. Move, Tammy. Or is it Terry?
Oh no.
I can't get that clip out of my head because they didn't want to pour the Gatorade on Andy Reid's wife, so they was telling him to move. Move, Tammy, or whatever her name is.
I never knew.
All I know is the Gatorade bucket better not ever be poured on me.
All right, let me see where I can take this. Okay, so since I like to do my over-under 300 yards for Mayfield.
Over.
Over-under 250 for Hurts in the air.
Over. No. I'm going to go under.
130 for Barkley.
Over.
Who leads the Eagles in in receptions?
Dallas. Goddard.
Okay. Over under 3 sacks for the Eagles.
Defense? The Eagles defense?
Defense.
Under.
Okay, over under 2 sacks offense.
Over.
But who can... How many interceptions for Jalen Hurts?
1.
Okay. Rashad White, 110.
Under.
Damn. Okay. Oh, wait. Godwin. 120.
Under.
Okay. You biased.
Mike Evans is gonna be the guy.
Okay. I like that. Y'all heard him. Y'all heard the man.
However, the question you didn't ask. Baker Mayfield throws 3 interceptions.
Oh.
Baker Mayfield throws darts to the Eagles defense.
And how many of them are straight to Reed Blankenship?
I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say CJ gets 1. Reed gets 1. And the rookie gets his first.
How many tackles for Zach Bond?
Zach Bond gets 15 because there's going to be a lot of running. But I feel like Rashad White's he's gonna get 88 yards on the ground. But Zach Bond is gonna have 12 to 15 tackles.
Well, yeah, that's about what he did last week, 12.
I feel like the Eagles will get 2 sacks, if that.
Well, I hope they're both Jalen Carter.
Yep.
Because I want to see everything I saw last week. I mean, because I hope it ain't got to be a thing where you got to get in a man case every week just to pump him up for game day. That's going to get weird and awkward.
That would be.
Just got to yell at him from Monday to fucking Saturday. You suck.
Stop
Then he
being
go out
so
there and bust
dramatic.
in. Right?
Hey, I hear what you're saying. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. Get ready for some football on Sunday. It's supposed to be out. You can wake up, watch the video. Well, by the time you wake up, it'll already be up. So just watch, hit us with the like, hit us with the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and get ready for some football.
Football!
And I say this because I do in every episode. It doesn't have the same meaning that it always does, but it's going to have some type of meaning to someone. And what I'm saying to you,
your team lost.
my team did lose.
Yeah.
And I'm
Before
very
you go,
disappointed.
you should tell them the story of how badly your team lost. How your team
My team lost.
Bed.
Lost
Probably 3 different beds.
6
That's
to
how much
2.
shit they took.
6
That's
to
right.
2.
In football, 6 to 2.
6 to 2. We got a safety in the first quarter. And a lot like Nick Sirianni, we just couldn't get it. We couldn't get it. Yeah. Once
Go
we got the red
on.
zone.
Go on.
We had 2 field goal opportunities to put some points on the board. Bad snaps on both one. Either too high for the kick, too high, or too low. Our center, horrible game. Just a bunch of bad snaps. It was just bad. Quarterback got smacked. He fumbled. The team scored. They couldn't get the extra point. It was bad, and I'm going to have to actually do my job this year. I'm going to have to go to the sideline this week at practice and make the decision to change who our center is going to be. And that brings me to the stance thing, because I know what I'm going to have to tell our starting center. We're going to have to go to our backup. Our starting center, this is what I say to you. We can't all be starters. And Boulevard, you can tell him exactly what he needs to do.
And tell him what your center did, what your center said in the middle of the game.
You like that? You like that?
No, we did not like that at all. We did not like that. He cried.
Hit the bench.